No next heading.
If a student using a screen reader tries to navigate this document, that's what they hear. No next heading, even though the document clearly looks like it has headings. The issue is something called tags. Tags define the structure of a document, and without them, assistive technologies can't navigate your materials. Hi, this is Maggie from Design Code Debug Repeat. Welcome to the channel. This video is designed to help college faculty like me, but if you're a regular viewer of the channel, with your programming knowledge, you're uniquely positioned to understand what tags are and how they impact accessibility. This knowledge can benefit you and help you benefit others. Many colleges are currently working to make course materials accessible. In 2024, the Department of Justice clarified that public institutions must meet the WCAG 2.1 AA accessibility standard with a compliance deadline of April 2026. When I ran Blackboard Ally on my own courses, I was surprised by how many issues it found. I worked through them one by one and eventually got all 6 of my courses to 100%. I'm going to run Ally on an old course of mine. This is an example of what I saw when I started this process. I'm going to run the checker and 88%, not great. If I scroll down, I can see the issues, and here are a few of the issues that you can get in Ally related to tags. The document does not have any headings, the document is untagged, and the HTML's heading structure does not start at the right level. We're going to focus on tags as they relate to these problems today. If there's interest, I can do separate videos on tables and images. And a disclaimer, I'm not an accessibility expert. If you are, or if you're a person who uses assistive technologies, and you hear me say anything or see me do anything you believe is wrong, please drop a comment below. I am fully committed to accessibility. I want to learn, and I do not want to be giving incorrect advice. Let's start with the simplest place to see tags, a Microsoft Word document. I have 2 versions of a lecture notes document side by side, one properly tagged and one that isn't. To a sighted person, these documents look the same. I have a title, Java Lesson 2 Notes, in a large font with space above and below, and you can see the headings for each section. The first is Overview, and then Conditional Statement, Syntax, and Flow, etc. And again, they're in a large font with space above and below, but the font isn't as large as for the title. That signals to us that they're headings and the relative level of each heading. Imagine a student is using this document to review for the midterm. They want to review switch statements. In Word, I can open the navigation pane from the View tab. In the properly tagged document, I can see the headings and subheadings in the navigation pane. We can easily find the Switch Statements heading near the end of the document. A student can click on that heading and jump to that section. But in the untagged version of the document, which looks to a sighted person exactly the same, there is nothing when I open the navigation pane. To reach a specific section, the student has to scroll and read everything until they find it. This is the difference between structure and appearance. Tags define the structure. Things like font size and formatting specify appearance. So even though I've formatted text to look like it's headings, unless I explicitly make it a heading in Microsoft Word, it's not, and my document will have no structure. This is the key idea behind accessibility. Appearance is what humans see. Structure is what computers and assistive technology understand. It can be very hard to a sighted person to understand how this document is perceived by our students who are using assistive technology to access it. But it's really helpful to be able to do that so we can identify problems and edit our documents so they're accessible to all. Many students with vision impairments will use a screen reader to access electronic documents. Screen readers allow users to navigate a document by structure, not just by reading everything sequentially. Let's listen to the difference between these 2 documents using the NVDA screen reader. NVDA stands for Non-Visual Desktop Access. This is free, open source software, so you can download it for your own use. I'll put a link in the description. In the accessible document, I can run NVDA and put it in browsing mode using a keyboard command, and then press the H key to move from heading to heading. Another key command reads the text at the heading I've chosen, and another key command stops.
Page 1 Overview Heading Level 1. Conditional Statement Syntax and Flow Heading Level 1. Page 2 The Boolean Type and Boolean Variables Heading Level 1. Page 3 Example Heading Level 1. Heading Level 1 Example We'll write the following program together, ask the user for their birth year.
And now the inaccessible version. It's still in browsing mode.
No next heading.
If I am using a screen reader to review for my midterm, I'll have to read almost to the end of this document to find the section I'm looking for. That's why tag structure matters. Navigation. It's helpful for sighted people, but critical for screen readers. And there's something in between, too. When a document is properly structured, browsers and assistive technologies can adapt it. Users can increase text size, change contrast, override colors, or apply high contrast modes, and the structure still works. But if we only change how something looks and don't mark what it is, those tools don't have anything to work with. So, how do we fix the inaccessible Word document? I'll start by adjusting my document so that its structure reflects the way I've styled it. I have a title at the top, Java Lesson 2 Notes. I'm going to click inside that text, and in the Home tab, in the Styles section, I can see that this is normal text. For this to be part of the structure, I need to make it a title, one of the options under Styles. I have two choices for how to do that. I can choose Title, and my text will then be formatted the way Microsoft Word is set to format a title. Or, if I want it to be a title, but I want titles to look like this text, I can right-click on Title in the Styles section and choose Update Title to match selection. When I do that, it does two things. It makes this text a title now, so it gives it structure, and it also makes the title style in this document look like this text. So I have a title style that matches the formatting of my document. Now I'm going to do the same for the text overview, except I'm going to choose Update Heading to match selection. That's a heading level 1. And as I continue down the document, logical operators and range checking is a heading level 1. But I have subheadings under that, so for those I'm going to choose Update Heading 2 to match selection. It's best practice not to skip heading levels. For example, a heading level 3 should normally appear under a heading level 2. Okay, so let me finish this document and come back. Now that the document is properly tagged, we can look at it in the navigation pane. Now, when I do that, I might think, hold up, it looks a little weird. I have a bunch of sections with subsections including example and practice, a nice hierarchical structure. But at the top, everything's at the same level. Should those maybe all be subsections under a heading? What I'm going to do is create a new heading called Selection Foundations above Conditional Statement Syntax and Flow and make that a heading 1. Now, I want the next 5 sections to be under that. I'm going to show you an easy way to change the structure. In the navigation pane, I'm going to right-click on each of those 5 sections and choose Demote. You can see them move to the right in the navigation pane. Indentation indicates structure here. And if I click on them now and look in the Styles area of the Home tab, I can see they're heading level 2. The navigation pane is a great place to view and edit the structure of your document. Now, I want to show you tags in 2 other kinds of documents, PDFs and HTML documents. I'm going to export this document as a PDF now, but before I do, I will use the Check Accessibility option under the Review tab and make sure Microsoft Word thinks it passes muster. And it does. So now I'm going to save it as a PDF. I'll choose File, Save As, and notice there's a More Options link here. I'm going to click on it, and a dialog box comes up. And notice under the Save As Type pull-down, there are some text boxes I can fill in. There's Authors, Tags, Title, and Subject. Ally requires all PDF documents to have a title. That was one of the most frequent errors I had, and Ally will add the title for you. But if you then upload a new version of the document, unless you add a title when you save it, the title will be gone again. So it's important to know how to add a title when you create your PDF. I'm going to type a title in the title text box, Java class notes for lesson 2, and choose PDF. Now, here's that PDF in Adobe Acrobat. So first, a warning. We know that I created this document properly in Microsoft Word. That's not always the case. Editing tags in Acrobat can sometimes be complicated, especially if the PDF was created without proper structure to begin with. Let's see how to do it. I'm going to go to View, Navigation Panels, Tags. This is how you can see the tags in Acrobat. This is a tree, and I can open it up by clicking on the plus signs next to tags. So first I see tags, and when I open that up, I see document. And then when I open that up, I can see tags representing the content for my whole document. You can see the heading tags, H1 and H2. And you can see P tags, that stands for paragraph. And you can also see table and figure tags. If Ally flags a PDF, the best case is that you still have the original document. You can fix the structure there and then export a new PDF. That is the ideal. But if you don't have the original, then you can repair the document by editing the tags in Acrobat. I can right-click on a tag. I'll choose an H2 tag and choose Properties from the context-sensitive menu that pops up. A dialog appears. In the Tag tab of the dialog, I can see a pull-down which is showing Heading Level 2. If I need to change that, and I don't have the original document, I can pull down the menu and choose the correct level of heading. And finally, let's look at some tags in HTML. In Blackboard, the items that we create consist of HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and its purpose is exactly what we've been talking about, to structure a document. We create the structure for an item we put on a Blackboard page, and it gets rendered in the browser for our students, just like any other web page. Now, Ally has flagged this particular item in this course. The Ally warning is that the headings don't begin at the right level, so I'll edit it. In Blackboard, I have a little toolbar at the top of the item content that includes a drop-down menu of headings. This is very similar to Microsoft Word. If I click in the text of the first heading, in the toolbar in that drop-down, I can see it's listed as Subheading 1. So to fix this, I can click in each heading and choose Heading 1 from the menu. Now this begins with the top level of heading. If you want to dig even a little deeper, you can see the HTML code by clicking on the little code button, which looks like an open and close angle bracket. And now you can see all of your item text, but marked up with tags. Tags are enclosed in angle brackets and surround the content being tagged. So you can see our heading. It's an HTML H4, so open angle bracket H4, close angle bracket, then the heading text, and then open angle bracket / H4, close angle bracket. That's an opening tag, text, and then closing tag. It takes a little getting used to, but if you're accustomed to it, it can sometimes be easier to clean up an item in the HTML. But you don't need to do that. Use the pull down and you should be able to create a hierarchical structure for your Blackboard items with tags, just as you do for a Microsoft Word document. I hope this video has demystified tags for you, not just the what, but the why and the how too. Again, if you want a video on another accessibility challenge you're facing, or if you have feedback on what I've said here, please drop a comment below. I learned a lot of tricks for how to use available tools to vastly improve the accessibility of Common Course materials, in my experience improving my own courses. Best of luck to you making your course materials accessible. It is important work and worth the time you're putting into it. In the end, your materials will be better for everyone. Thanks for watching and take care.